welcome back from spring break and Easter vacation. As you can see, I was in my pajamas a lot during Easter, and I just thought it'd be great to come to school in my pajamas. No, just kidding. I'm filming this lesson right before we leave for spring break, so this is what I have. So I hope you have enjoyed being in your pajamas, but now it's back to school, and it's back to math, and it's back to probability. Boy, are we in probability right now, aren't we? This coronavirus has just a lot of probability. We don't know when we're going to do this, when we're going to do that, when we can even be back to school. But we do know math, so we're going to be working on lesson 9.14, and we're going to be practicing a little bit more with probability. Please review the video that is on Edmodo by Math Antics, because that's a really fun one to do. But we are working on today's lesson. So there's a lot of things in life that are not certain. There are a lot of real situations, and even in jobs, things that may or may not happen, like weather, for instance, or elections. You know, everybody's like, oh, this person might be president, this person might be president, or the meteorologist, oh, this might rain. Now, they're just making predictions based on previous years or previous months of weather. So here are some situations. There's very little probability that the weather will be snowy on the 4th of July. Okay, very little probability. It's not going to snow here in Salinas on the 4th of July. Or here's a certain one. It is certain that God created the world. Or here's another one. It is equally likely, that means it's probably going to happen, that I'm going to have math or spelling for homework tonight. Why do we know that? Because you've had math or spelling for homework for 3.5 quarters already. So we know that that's probably going to happen. And here's a food one. I'm more likely to eat hamburgers than eel for dinner. Never had eel, so the likely chances of me eating eel, not very good at all. In fact, I could probably say 0 because I'm probably never going to eat it. And so today we're going to be talking again about probability, but I have some stacking cubes here. And I have 4 red ones, 5 blue ones, 2 yellow ones, and 4 green ones. Okay, so we're going to record those numbers right now. For instance, what is the probability, if I put these in a basket or a bag, what's the probability that I'm going to draw a blue one? Well, we can say that we have 15 cubes, so if we put it in our fraction form, 15 cubes, and how many blue ones? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My probability that I'm going to pick blue is 5 out of 15. And we can do the same thing for the other colors. What's the probability I'm going to pick green? 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 15. So there's going to be 4 out of 15. And yellow, 1, 2 out of 15. And red, 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 15. Now, what would I say? What's the probability of picking red and blue? Well, then what I would do if I combine them and say my chances are 9/15. Or what are my chances of picking blue and yellow? In that case, it would be 7/15. Or whatever combinations we wanted to do. What is my chances of picking orange? 0. Okay, because there's no orange here. Okay, so the probability of choosing those colors and these are exactly like this. You can write it in fraction form. It's the same thing if you were to use a spinner. Okay, now today's math lesson is doing exactly that. Okay, you do have a spinner on page 274 that you're looking at. And in the practice section, and this is part of your lesson today, so pay attention really close. I know you always want help on the work. So in practice today, you're looking at the spinner and you're going to decide. Number 1 says, what's all the possible outcomes? Well, some of you are like, well, I don't get it. What do I do? What do I write? What they want you to do there is write all the possible shapes. And in this case, there are 4 shapes, names that you're going to write. So that's what you're going to be doing for number 1, is writing down the shape names of all the possible shape outcomes. And then you're looking at number 2 where it's going to say predict the most likely outcome. Well, what does that mean? That means you're going to pick the shape that is if you have the most chances of spinning each time. And which one is that going to be? Probably the one that has the most shapes. Okay, that's going to be your answer. And number 3, the same thing. Are there any outcomes that are equally likely? Well, we have one shape that you pick a lot more than the other. But there's another shape that's another couple of shapes that you might even pick. That might even be chosen in your spinner because of how many times you see them or maybe where they're positioned. And after you do 1, 2, and 3, you're going to head over to numbers 4 through 6, and it's a weather. And you're going to treat that like a fraction as well, or maybe you want to say 2 out of 5 or 1 out of 5. You can do that too. 2/5 or 2 out of 5, for instance. Let's look at the example in number 4, where you're going to have to count the days. It says, what's the probability of the temperature on March 15th being in the 70s? Well, first of all, your denominator has to be how many dates they actually shown on the little chart there. You're going to count your dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will always be your denominator. And then it wants you to know how many temperatures are in the 70s. Well, then you have to go back and count the dots that are actually in the 70s. So for instance, for number 4, you're going to say, how many times are in the 70s? Well, it looks like we have one high degree of 76 and one on 70. So there's only 2 that are in the 70s out of 5 dates, dates. So your fraction is going to be 2 out of 5. Now, I can't give you the answers to all of them, but I wanted to give you a little head start on it. So I really want you to work hard, read carefully. I know you guys don't like to read carefully. You want to just find the numbers and add them or subtract them, but you can't do that. You really have to read carefully, see what it's asking you to do, and then answer it very carefully. You also will have apply number 7 to do as well. So please, boys and girls, I know you've had a whole week off, but it's time to get back into this so that we could finish off this year. I'm hoping not all online, but I'm hoping that we can get back in the classroom together. But right now, it's uncertain. So I suggest that you just work hard now on what you have in front of you, and we'll take each day as it comes, guys, okay? Thank you so much, and don't forget, you can always contact me in my afternoon time if you need any help. I'll see you tomorrow.